Hey everybody, as I promised a while back, I'm finally getting to the next series of figures I'm going to be reviewing, and they are the classic TV series Batman action figures. And of course we'll be starting out here with Adam West's Batman, but before we do that, let's take a look at the packaging he comes in. So here's the packaging, and it's actually pretty cool. I like it. Clearly states what character you're getting there, and it's Batman with collector card. We'll get to that later in the review. But Batman Classic TV series, it says up here strictly for the adult collector, which is weird. It makes it kind of sound like it's, you know, some really violent or sexual themed action figure, but honestly they're perfectly fine for anyone, I would say. You get a little quote from Robin here, although I don't get it. It's probably taken from the TV show, although I cannot place the episode. But holy forecast Batman, what's he? I mean, it's probably a reference to the maybe to the bat singer. I don't know. It doesn't have any real relevance on this packaging. But basically, you see I've opened it up here. But another cool thing, it's really hard to see here, but the pows and the bams and the whams are all on there. If you're unfamiliar with the 60s TV show, basically whenever they got into a fight and they hit someone, a giant cartoon sound effect animation would pop up on the screen. So that's a reference to it. It's really cool to see that it's raised up, so it's actually not just, you know, kind of caved down, you can feel it. Very cool. Inside here then there's, of course, a little plastic packaging where Batman would be in, and then behind that there's actually a separate little thing, and that's where the card kind of hides back there. So it's a nice way to keep it safe. Then on the back here we have just another variation. We have a little you know, description of the character Batman here. It's actually filled with a bunch of really cool 60s slang and stuff. But you can pause it here if you want to read it. And then here's a little weird thing. Warning, small parts may be generated. Now it's not weird at all to have, actually I think it's the law that you have to have a warning saying that the toy is not for children 3 or under. But the way that's phrased is really strange. Small parts may be generated. Makes it seem like at any point this box or figure could just start shooting out small parts of something. It's very odd. I don't think I've ever seen it phrased that way in another figure. Then you got this cool little stylized picture of Batman here in the bat signal. And then same bat time, same bat channel featuring, and here's some of the other characters in the line. And we'll be getting to all these guys except for Surf's Up Batman. I do not have him. But that's cool. They're done in kind of this art style, the intro to the show. And that's about it. Got the logo deck there. Alright then, now let's get on to the figure himself. So here we have Batman, and starting at the head here, he's actually got a very nice, very good likeness to Adam West. Looks very much like the character. The eyebrows are painted on there very nice. And honestly, that was always one of my favorite parts of this costume, was the eyebrows, because they are completely useless. Why would anyone paint eyebrows onto a costume? It makes no sense. But it's part of what made the series so fun. Got the head. Got the ears that just barely peek up. They're very similar to the costume. Going to the head rotates a bit here. Left, right. Not too much up and down. You're kind of looking at it there. Back here. Got the cape, and it's nice. It's a nice little soft fabric. My only problem with it is, as you can see here, it's kind of see-through, which I don't like. I would have preferred a more solid kind of coloring to it, because it wasn't see-through in the show. But I mean, it's alright. It looks good, and from a distance you can't really tell anyway. Going down here we see the Bat logo, and that pops real nice. And another thing I don't care for much, and it's in a few other figures of the series, is this ugly ab crunch. And this is it. This is all that it does. So why have it in there? I'd rather it just be gone and give me a twist at the waist or something, which he has nothing there. So that's would have been my recommendation. Get rid of this ugly giant ab crunch that does nothing really, and give me a just a, you know, waist mobility. Moving on to the arms here, they kind of rotate it, and they stick out about that far, and they can go 360. Get the elbow there, down, but that does not rotate. And going on, there's nothing here. It's a separate part, but they didn't give it any articulation. But his hand does rotate. That's what we get there. A little farther down to the legs here. About the belt, you can see the bat signal there pretty good, but from a distance it's really hard to make out. But that's not really the maker's fault. It actually was this gold on gold kind of look in the show. However, the detailing on the belt's actually not very good. It's just these kind of solid plastic looking things with little notches on them. A little more detail could have been used there, especially an adult collector's item according to the package. Then you have the legs, and they kick out about that far. And then again, they've got these marks where it's a separate piece, and you think it's kind of does this little rotate here, but that's as far as it goes. It doesn't really do anything. Then you've got the elbow. That's just a standard. Leg kicks back about that far. It does not go 360. And then to the foot, and that's got a joint in as well. It can go up or down. It can actually go up a kind of a ridiculous amount. But there's no ankle pivot. Alright, now actually when I first saw this figure, my heart kind of sank. You're seeing why right there. It's not that ab crunch, it's, look at this paint splatter on the shoulder. That's ridiculous. Now, full disclosure, I actually got these guys at a fairly good discount. They retail for about 20 bucks from what I've seen. I got them for only a little over half that, around in the $12 to $10 range. But still, I'm kind of glad I didn't pay full for this figure at least, because that's just bad. That's not even bleeding from like other parts. That's the paint from his kind of cowl here and hood. Somehow it just got splattered on there, willy-nilly on the shoulder. And it's harder to see, but it's also kind of on there. That's just really sloppy work, and for, again, something that professes to be an adult collectible, it's kind of unacceptable. I'm appalled. The other thing I don't really care for, but it's not as big a deal, is this really big, ugly, I don't know, manufacturer's mark on the back. It's, you know, it's not, with the cape, it's fine. It doesn't make much of a difference, but come on, put it somewhere else. Alright, now I've kind of talked about that. Let's move on to the stuff he comes with. So Batman here comes with basically the same setup all the characters do. They come with this nice stand that you can stand on, and as I mentioned, there's the word bubbles that would pop out when they hit somebody on the show. It's a nice touch. And then of course you get that card that was mentioned earlier. And on one side there's some artwork here. And actually I do in general like the artwork here. I can't say I'm crazy about Robin there. He doesn't look very good, but Batman looks good, and I do like it, and it's got that there. Definitely looks like a trading card that could have come out in the 60s for the show. And it's even got like faked aging here on the sides, and it's very thick cardstock, so I don't see it being damaged too easily. But that's very nice. And then on the back, you get a scene from the Batcave with the Batmobile there, and if you put these together with all the figures, you actually get a whole kind of whole diorama of the Batcave, which is a pretty cool idea. But on my second review, I'll kind of show why it doesn't work as well as it could have. But anyway, another nice touch is that the card actually fits into the stand back here, like so. And then you take your figure, and he's got little holes in his boot, and you set him there, and there he is. It's actually really cool. I like it, and I really like it when figures come with their own stands. It makes things a lot easier for posing and whatnot. Even though the posability of these figures is not the greatest, as I kind of showed there. My only complaint here is that, as I said, this is it. And if you haven't seen the show, it's hard to explain, but Batman had like a gadget for everything. From, you know, his traditional like batarangs to bat shark repellent. And I'm not making that up. That's actually something that was in there. So, on a show that's based off of the props and stuff, and played a very prominent part in the show, why does Batman get nothing? Absolutely no accessories whatsoever. And this isn't just him. Of the 5, only one of these figures comes with an actual accessory. It's just bizarre. Now, as I mentioned, I looked at this figure. He was the first one I opened. I saw that paint splotching, all that, and my heart just kind of sank. I'm like, oh god, at least I got these on deal. But I am happy to say the next few figures we'll be looking at are actually much better than this guy. So I will see you then. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.